Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about spring/summer homestead maintenance. Everything I have to do around the homestead to keep it up, to keep it maintained. This is not going to be a sitting here and talking about them, showing pictures on the side. We're actually going to go out there and I'm going to show you some things that I do. Some of the stuff has not been done because I am only one person here and there's a lot to do with everything I have going on, but it just goes to show you the types of things that you have to do when you're trying to upkeep a community and keep it maintenance, keep it looking nice for not only myself and my personal guests, but my Airbnb, the RV guests, and the tent campers. So we're going to go outside now. There are 10 things we have to talk about, and let's go. This is my property. I do have 4 acres of property, as most of you guys know. The first thing we are going to be talking about is weed eating these gravel paths. About 2 years ago, I had these gravel paths poured and there's tarp under most of them. But for some reason, either when I mow or I know it's not coming up through the tarp. So I think it's when I mow, say, longer stuff and say the seeds to the mower get into the gravel path. They just have to be maintained by weed eating them. The only solution that I've found to work. I have tried spraying with glyphosate, which I'm pretty much against. The only other way to keep these weeds out of here is to come in here and weed eat the tops of them. At least it kind of shows the gravel underneath. Of course, where there are trees, the weeds aren't going to grow through as much. There's really nothing for them to grow. Like the sun, water may hit it, but then something like this is all weeds right here, and this is all a gravel path. This is one thing that I have not done in a while, so I'm gonna have to get in here and weed eat these paths, but that is part of homesteading maintenance. Number 2, mowing the lawn. So because I have 4 acres of property and I have all of this to upkeep, so the RV section has 4 different spots. I have to mow in between those. This includes weed eating. And then these are the pollinator wildflower gardens. And because those have paths as well, I have to mow along it. And a lot of people have asked me why I don't just leave like a meadow. Well, the wildflower gardens are the meadow, so I mow everything else around it. We're going to come over here and I'm going to show you more of the stuff that I have to do. So this right here, along here, I have to weed eat along here. But this is all 4 acres of property. I have to mow all of this. Everything that's not the gardens, everything that's not the wildflower gardens are things that I have to mow just to keep everything looking nice and neat. Now I do have a ride-on lawnmower, but it is not a 0 turn, so I cannot get around some of these holes in trees. So I do leave what I would call a tree garden around each of the trees, and that's okay because I like to grow flowers around those, and instead of having to come in here and weed eat this whole section, I kind of just leave that ring around there, and then the lawnmower goes around it, and I don't need to get all the way up against the tree. Eventually flowers start to come up in these tree gardens, and they're around every tree. I have tree gardens around every tree, but that helps me not have to mow all the way up against the tree. Sometimes there's bushes in there, and then sometimes there's stuff growing up the tree, but that is something that I don't want to do right now is get all the way up to the tree, so I just let these tree gardens grow. Number 3 is weed eating the wildflower garden path. So I also do have some cardboard under some of these, as well as pine needles to try to keep the weeds from growing up. However, weeds still grow up in these paths, so to make these paths nice and clear, we just want to make sure the weeds are at least down to the wood chips. These are newly weed eated. The ones in the front aren't weed eated yet, but I have to get to those. We just want to maintain these wildflower garden paths by keeping the weeds out. Some animals have dug up in here. They kind of try to get the bugs in here, but that it is what it is. That is another thing that we do around the homestead just to keep it looking nice and neat. And before all of these gardens were put down here, this whole thing was grass. So that probably would have been easier once I had my ride-on lawnmower to actually come in here and mow the whole thing. But before I got the ride-on lawnmower, I was doing it with a push lawnmower, which is one reason why I put these gardens in, to make them pollinator wildflower gardens. And I use a lot of this stuff for medicine as well. Number 4, we have a lot of storms here in West Tennessee. A lot of the trees get knocked down. We have to come out here and pick up things like this. That must have fallen from this tree right here. But before we get in here and mow, we can't go over things that are this size. So we just take this big branch right here and kind of throw it in the tree rings, pick up all these sticks. I do have multiple piles around the homestead where I can dump these. I will also come in and put the sticks around the tree rings. And then when I go in, a lot of times there was something here a while ago that I was going over. I think it might have been this thing right here, this right here, and this right here. Woo! See right here, I go and put all of these sticks around the tree rings when I'm out here picking this stuff up. And then I will have to come out here with a golf cart, put the back down, and then collect all of the sticks from the middle of the trees just to keep that looking nice and maintenance. Now, the thing that I do when I drop them off, I drop them off into this pile. There's like a few different sticks and branch piles. I put the longer ones here to make trellises. And then number 5 is watering the gardens, weeding the gardens, and pruning the gardens. Some of these gardens have gotten away from me, such as these 3 right here. So recently I did get out here and weed eat these 4 gardens. You could see I've got like a little workstation right here. Finally took out all the weeds. These 3 gardens didn't make it, but if you want those gardens to make it, you're going to have to maintenance them throughout the year in order to have your plants survive. So next year I'm going to try something different to try to keep the weeds out. I'm going to be making these into raised garden beds, and then we're going to be using like a tarp process, burning a hole through the tarp to put the seed in, and then hopefully that keeps out some of the weeds as well. Then you want to get in here and water, of course, because if you're not watering your plants, they're not going to grow for you. And then last but not least, but you want to prune your plant. This is my tomato garden, and last year it didn't work out, and I think it's because a lot of the bottom wasn't pruned. I kind of just left it as is, and hornworms got to all of them. Hornworms come up from the ground and they crawl up the stems and the leaves and then get up to your fruit. But me pruning them, this allowed for me not to have to find these worms. Like I didn't find the worms because I don't think I gave them a place to crawl up. Now I also did put copper wire at the bottom of these gardens so that it could try to deter any types of slugs going up, and I think that also helped. So this year I did get an excellent harvest from this tomato garden, and they're still going. Like I can come in here and get all of those ones that are there, but I've harvested like 100 or 200, maybe even more, with the 22 tomato plants that are in here. Now as we come over here, something got to my zucchini garden, which was squash bugs. So I cleared that out. Something also got to my corn garden, so I got that out. But then see right here, this is my onion garden, and there used to be 80 onions in there, but the weeds took over, so I don't know if any of the onions have survived. This is why we want to get all the weeds out of there and prune anything off so that we can just have successful gardens throughout the year. Something also got to this garden, which is my cucumber garden, and I went ahead and planted 16 more seeds, so we should see another harvest later this year. Number 6. Now, remember when we talked about cleaning up all of those fallen branches? So we do have fallen branches that they're dead, so they'll fall during storms. They'll break off, fall to the ground. And before I get out here and mow, I have to go pick up all the sticks. Once we pick all the sticks up and put them in these piles, this is my tent camp section, and these are the piles that the tent campers get to use for free. Now, once they use the sticks that are in here, these are the piles that I will rebuild that station up with. But right now it just stays kind of in a pile itself. The pile used to go out here, but there really isn't any walkway to get in through here. I cleared out this section first, and I just put, this is like my main stick brush pile. There's also one by the RV section, so that when those fire pit stations kind of dwindle down, I take the sticks from there and then put them inside the the wood piles. So we want the wood piles to look like this, and just hope that this goes down, but it's constantly going up because there's constantly fallen sticks around the homestead that you're constantly picking up. Number 7, this is my mulch pile, and right now this is another project that I have not gotten to for a couple weeks now, but I really need to do this at least once a week, because this is what gives me my free dirt, my free compost for next year to top off the garden. So we start on this side and put all the fresh stuff over here. This could be plants that didn't make it, the ends of plant. When I prune the plants, I'll bring the healthy ones in here and I'll burn the diseased ones. Chicken poop will go on this side, pine shaving, fresh new leaves like pine leaves and regular leaves that fall during the fall, and then fire pit ash. I mix this section, mix it over here, and then this section is more the finished product. Then I will transfer all of this mixed stuff over here to my other compost pile, which is another part of that. There's more pruned garden stuff in there. I'll put the dirt on top of that. All of that will compost to make fresh dirt and compost to top off these gardens the next year. So it's a huge process that I have to do. I just have not gotten to this yet, but we do need to get going on that so that we can start mixing up all of this older stuff and put some of this fresh stuff on top of it. And then we'll continue to mix that throughout the year. Chicken poop cannot be put on plants. It's too acidic. So that's why it starts over here. And I know throughout the year as I'm mixing it and it comes over here that this is 6 months or older. And you don't want to put the fresh stuff on the plants. You want to put the 6-month or older stuff on the plants. This is my chicken grave. Eventually, I'm going to be taking all of this out of here. And then just whenever these chickens pass away, I'll be putting them at the edge of my property for the wildlife to take them. However, right now there's 5 chickens under there. 3 of them are bones. 2 of them are in bags. And I just need to take this section out of here. This also being emptied will create more room for me to do the whole compost and mulch pit. Number 8 would be chicken coop maintenance. This is my chicken pen. We're going to go in there. So the flooring to here is called horse pellets, and usually they start out as these little pellets. They're like little nuggets, and when rain hits them, they kind of turn into dust. When the rains hit them too much and this whole section becomes a little muddy, you then have to replace the horse pellets. So we're constantly bringing new horse pellets inside here. And then when we go inside the coop, same thing. We have to maintenance the flooring so that we can either form a deep litter method, which would be you don't pick up the poop or anything. You kind of just let it compost in with each other, but you want to stir it up, and you also want to put more stuff on top of it. So more pine shavings on top of it. If you have a sand type of situation in here, you can always scoop it up almost like it's litter, and then put them in a bucket. This bucket right here, I get all the poop off the shelves because the chickens poop on the shelves. So that is daily maintenance, but just regular maintenance every couple weeks. You have to come in here, stir all this up, make sure it's all nice and neat looking. You also want to try to maintenance the dust that's in here. Try to keep it as dust free as you can. I do have a workshop air purifier up there, as well as the whole coop is ventilated. And I do have 2 spare fans that I keep in the workshop garage. And every couple weeks, I have to blow with the leaf blower. I have to blow all of the dust out of there and replace those so that they can be cleaned. They have fresh air all the time. But this happens every couple weeks, or when I see that the fans are really dirty. The fans aren't really powerful enough, so I might look into getting different fans to put up there, and just kind of got to keep the whole coop clean to try to prevent as much disease and sicknesses and illnesses within the chickens. We also want to come in here and spray the ground for bugs. Sometimes there's ants that come in here because of the treats that I put on the ground. You want to just spray it so that we keep as many bugs out of here as we can. Number 9. Now, most of you guys know that I do rent my tiny house on Airbnb and Vrbo. So we always want to make sure that the front yard is maintained. We want to make sure the grass is cut, the gardens are looking nice, and that the tiny house on the inside is cleaned after every single guest. If the guests were walking through this grass and they hit like an anthill, you want to basically get all the anthills out of there. I did have a guest that got stung by a wasp, and the wasp was underneath the deck. So you want to make sure that that is always maintenance. Make sure that there's no wasp nests underneath the railings. I didn't know it was there. It was like in that little corner right there. And he actually messaged me and said, be careful going in when you clean. There's a wasp nest underneath the deck. So I got in there right away and just maintenance that so that no other future guests got stung. Eventually, I'm going to come in here and clean up this area right here. That's medicine to me, so usually I just keep it up and harvest it when I need to. Weeds around those just to hide the stump, even though this one really isn't hidden. But again, you just want to make sure that everything is maintained so that the guests have a good stay. They get bit less by the bugs, and no tick bites or anything like that. You just want to keep the grass low and just maintain it as much as you can. This also includes the backyard, since I do provide a fire pit and chairs out here in the back. We also want to make sure that the entire backyard is cleaned up so that if the guests not only want to use the front fire pit, but they can come out here and use the back fire pit. We wouldn't want to keep all the grass high up back here, assuming that they're only going to use the fire pit in the front. And number 10 would be harvesting the stuff that you grow, especially if you are intending to make it as medicinal uses. So I do use a lot of the stuff as medicine. I also have my herbal business, Goddess of Herbs, so then I sell some of this stuff. When you have the land and you grow some of, the herbs that you sell, there's a process that you have to go through. And one of those processes is harvesting those plants, hanging them upside down to dry, and then processing them when they're finished drying. So these are echinacea seeds, and those can be replanted again to make more medicine. We harvested the flowers and the leaves. There's a bunch more seeds. So all of these used to be up here drying, and now there are basil plants, basil seeds, lemon balm. We also have some marigolds over here. We have this dragon fruit cuttings that I have to replant. And then there are some cucumber seeds inside here drying. There's some more stems that I have to put in the compost pile. But this is a whole working session, and you have to do this throughout the year, since the wildflower gardens basically create different flowers, different herbs, different wildflowers throughout each season. So because all of these basil had started to go to seed, I wanted to get in there, and instead of letting these just die, and I can't eat all of it, you want to come in here and turn it upside down to put it into a bag once all of these are dry. And then again, you harvest all the seeds so that you can plant them again next year so that you don't have to buy those seeds. And I do make a lot of lemon balm tea. We've had yarrow up here. We've had peppermint, spearmint, catnip, even catnip. You want your cats to have some fresh catnip from outside rather than buying it at the store. If you have some land, feel free to do that, but it's part of the maintenance of like homesteading, or at least for my journey. That was homesteading maintenance, especially around Tiny Dreamer Homestead. When you are building up a community, you basically just need to make sure that everything is nice and neat for the guests, and you just want to maintain everything. You're caring for chickens, you're collecting their eggs, so you always want to make sure that their coop and their living situation is nice, neat, and proper, and always maintained. Your gardens need care, so you always want to mix up that mulch pile so that you can put all the mulch and the compost on your gardens for the next year. I take the medicine, so you want to hang that stuff in your mobile home, or you can even hang it in the garage if you don't have room in your house. But all of this stuff, the caring for the gardens, the caring for the chickens, the caring for the property, is all of the things that building up a tiny house community entails. Right now, it's not so much a community because I don't have multiple people all the time staying here, but the upkeep of the property is very important, and eventually it will become the tiny house property. So these are just things that we have to do to maintain it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and click the notifications bell so you can receive a notification every time I post a new video, which is every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Don't put that part.